What is up, PML? It's your boy, Vegas 22, coming in hot with Slick Butter.
What up, y'all? We got election day, we got trade deadline day, and most importantly, we got week 12 PRs with Butter in Vegas.
Man, we love to see it. Slick, so much thanks so much for being here. Listen, remember, if you like videos like this, make sure you go on ahead and give us a subscribe, give us a thumbs up, give us all the good love. We deserve it. But once again, remember, none of this would be made possible without Mr. Cody. Thank you so much for all you do, Cody. But let's go ahead. Let's dive right in. We're not going to waste any time today. Let's talk a little bit about the AFC playoff race, what we got going on. Slick, man, tell me a little bit about your side of the things over there in the AFC, brother.
Hey, Joe's pulling away from everybody, and it's a tight race. I can see any seat happening basically behind that one spot. I think Joe's going to solidify it, but, you never know. The AFC's a tight race, but we got some contenders all the way down to 10 here. I see the Bengals taking home the North, Colts in the South, myself in the West, and I skipped. I'm going to go with CU and the Jets. Take the leaders here.
Okay. All right. So looking at the 5, 6, 7, right? 5, 6, 7. Do you see any of 8, 9, or 10 moving into one of those playoff spots and one of those guys falling out?
With Echo on vacation, maybe he comes back and comes back strong. I just lost Haran, so I think that's very possible. But don't know who'd be running out. Whether it be, it's a crapshoot here in the AFC. So
Yeah, from my standpoint of things, I'm looking at the AFC and I'm saying there's probably Echo that can maybe slide in there. I'm not sure who's on the Titan schedule of where somebody can fall back from there. Listen, he's hanging on by a one-game lead. Echo's got some room to make up. It's going to be tough. He's 2 losses back with only 5 games to go. Maybe a little tough. Ron's in the driver's seat. Ron's been definitely one of those hit or miss teams, 6-5, high-powered offense. But the AFC is as jumble fucked as the NFC is. And I'll start off with the NFC being in the NFC. The NFC again is top heavy. You got Slick Butter leading the way. He's got a 2-game lead currently for the number 1 seed, which is huge to be able to get that bye.
Splash.
Oh, what did I say? Did I say Tiger?
Slick Butter.
I said Slick. Look, man, I'm all excited with my homie over here on election day, but looking at sorry, Splash. No reason to go off track there, but Splash 2-game lead. You take a look at he's got a 2-game lead over Tiger. Tiger somehow has found a way to dominate the entire PML outside of a certain guy that plays in MetLife Stadium, but in general, he's 2 games back. He's very much in control of the NFC East. Arizona, we talked about him before. There's actually been a head coaching change there. The new owner, Melsif, has come in. He actually had a dominating win in Week 12, which was quite impressive. We'll talk a little bit more. And we'll go from there. But the NFC North is really where the mess begins. Carolina's going to make the playoffs. They've got 8 wins. They're going to continue to win. The Eagles, 8 wins. They play the Giants twice. That can go one way or the other. Depends on what Giants team shows up. But what's the NFC North going to do to each other, right? So I look at this, these first 7 in. My prediction is those top 6 are going to make the playoffs. And then my belief is probably either the Packers or the Giants are going to slide in there and steal that 7 seed. We'll see. The Giants continue to lay eggs. The Packers have had some really good games, and they've played really bad as well. That's kind of what I see. Talk to me, Slick.
I see some hit or miss. You said it. Giants and Packers. Packers are on a 4-game losing streak, and the Giants, you never know what you're going to get. You might get one of the best teams in the league. You might have one of the worst teams in the league. It's just a give and take there. But I think I'm going to go Detroit as sneaking in as that team.
Sorcery, the JMO special.
Yes, I'm going to go sorcery just to mix it up here.
Okay, so I think we're in agreement though. We're picking the Bears to win the division. Is that what we're saying? We're saying the Bears win the division. We're saying
I like that top 6.
All right, we like the Falcons. We like Tiger. We like Arizona. We're saying that We're going to get 3 teams out of the NFC East, 1 team out of the North, 2 teams out of the South, three, two, one, one, and one out of the West. All right, let's make it happen. Let's go, baby. Let's make it happen. We love to see it. Or maybe I guess we get 2 North. We'll go on from there. But listen, we just talked about it. Some teams can have some really good games and some really bad games, and you want to know why some people just win more than others? This graphic right here tells the story. I saw this. First off, I about vomited a little bit for 2 reasons. A, I saw the Rams with 53, negative 53, folks. We have 65 interceptions on the year. Makes me want to throw up. That being said, there's some really well-known owners, specifically maybe that Giants guy, 29 interceptions on the year, negative 14. Duval at negative 15. But hell, even the Chiefs and Bucks were in the Super Bowl last year, big Super Bowl layover. These are the reasons why these teams are not winning right now. Splash, talk to me a little bit about why you look at those top 5 teams and why they're winning. Tell me a little bit about their stats.
Well, yeah, when this graphic popped up, you just can't help but to notice the two on the top of each side of it. Splash is, definitely has some separation at 27 with the next closest guy at 16 being Joe. And then you got Ja over here with negative 53, and then Cody short behind him, or long behind him at 15. Man, I miss being in Ja's division for sure. Definitely gave me some dev games, but, Cody with 6 fumbles lost is crazy. The fumbles are just brutal game changers. But this graphic makes sense to me. Out of the whole list on each side, the surprise is the Titans on the positive turnover differential, and then those Giants on the bottom 5. That is
Yeah,
just kind of
we're
crazy
bad.
to me.
We're bad in New York, dude. Like, listen, when you have 6 turnovers in a game against the winless Raiders, that's gonna happen. Let's move on because I'm a little sick to my stomach. Talk to me here, brother. What you got here? What do we got? Top 5. We got some scoring.
We got some scoring. This is all your scoring leaders as far as team wise, and then you have the bottom as well. And then the bottom graphic shows you the yards per game. So, to nobody's surprise, the scoring is the Panthers, Lynch, Splash, Joe, and I guess you could say the Packers are a little more on the surprising end of that. And then the bottom 5, we have Kobe, Ja, the Patriots, the Raiders, and the Giants. Again, the Giants kind of the surprise there. I can
Yeah.
see the Raiders taking himself out of this by the end of the year, but we will see. And then yards per game, those are just the offenses that you do not want to get yourself into on a late game with 6 people watching or maybe the playoffs. These are the teams that you got to be on your A game, ready to play, have your adjustments right, no mistakes being made on those teams on the bottom there.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So I think a lot of it ties back into turnovers, right? So you want to know why the Giants are there? The Giants are a bottom 5 scoring team because we turn over the fucking ball a lot because we suck, right? We cannot finish drives and we're turning it over too much. That's why we're in the bottom 5 scoring. It's not for lack of yards. It's not for lack of creativity. It's we don't protect the ball. Top 5 scoring. Yeah, you know what? The Panthers, when you average 50 yards a reception, the Browns have found a way the last 2 years with Watson. Splash, I'm willing to bet you some of that has to do with his defense. You'll actually notice, though, that Splash is also top 5 in yards per game. A lot of those things go hand in hand. I think the one outlier there is that the Eagles slide into top 5 yards. I think he's more mid-range in his turnovers, and the Packers are top 5 scoring. And he just doesn't turn it over as much as maybe the Eagles do. I know he's been working on his deep pass game, so I think that's going to be working up more and more. As we kind of look at that and you dive in a little bit more into, passing leaders and rushing leaders, a lot of those things speak hand in hand. I think the big thing that really stands out to me on this page is, Desmond Ritter. Right, Desmond Ritter apparently maybe had a dev game behind it, but he's averaging, he's at 3,386 yards. His touchdown to turnover ratio is 34 to 12. Like what? And Jaden Daniels, right? So Tiger. These are teams and these are owners that win a lot of ball games because they don't turn the ball over. Packers again, 23 interceptions. That's kind of why you're going to see some opportunities in other areas and why they're 6-6 and not 8-5 like some other teams. You know, Bijan Robinson, duh. Um, to these other guys
Right
here.
there.
I mean, shit. Receiving leaders. What do we got down here? Receiving leaders. 49.2 yards per catch. TRC. Like, dude, come on, man. 49.2? Can you throw in, I don't know, a screen pass that doesn't go for a touchdown? Like, how about a quick slant just to get like 2 yards just to bring it down a little bit? But that being said, it is absolutely insane. But he actually has played. I'm not sure why the yards per game is jacked up there, but it looks like Jameson Williams actually averages more yards per game. I think that's just because it's imported separately. But yeah, man, talk to me about some offense here, man. I don't see any Giants and I don't see any Charge. Oh, there is a Charger. Look, talk to me about Lad McConkey, the current AFC Player of the Year, man. Uh oh, did we lose you? Slick, you muted?
Oh, my bad. Yep, I'm muted. My bad.
Talk to
Lad
me about Lad
McConkey.
McConkey, the current AFC Player of the Offensive Player of the Year.
He is he's actually being a diva. He wants the ball more. He's been in my office. He wants the ball even more, which is just insane. But the number one thing that sticks out on that bottom graphic to me is, how is JMO? We all say sorcery whores him. How does he have the lowest yards per reception? That is just crazy. I mean, he is just a rack magnet, but
Well,
somehow
he's
he
at
has the
98
lowest.
catches. He has almost
Yeah,
double anyone else on the screen. I think that's another
right.
problem.
That is true too. But these make sense. These go right there with the team statistics. Bijan on the top of rushing, Splash is killing it on offense. That's no surprise. Was really thinking with our new user. Shout out Mel, Cardinals user. We maybe thought Desmond Ritter would slip off this graphic, but
Yeah.
not a chance. Taking down the Bengals and staying on the list. So, but the Packers, like you said, really consistent, minimal turning over of the ball, constantly getting yards, leading the league in passing yards is pretty awesome to see.
All right, all right. So, when there's offense, there is defense. Once again, I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about it because again, you don't see me up there anywhere, and actually, I don't see you either. Like, I guess we're
No,
just mid, right? Are we just mid users somewhere in this league these days?
you're never going to see me on the defensive graphic. I like to say I'm more offensive based, but again, these you see those defensive minded guys. Echo's got crazy good defense. The Bengals just showing out on all sides of the ball. The Jets, when you're chewing the clock and running the ball, there's not many scores to be had. Surprisingly, Lundo on there, which is pretty crazy. And then, of course, you have the bottom five, the Raiders. We have a new user. We can ignore that. But Cannoli, 4K, and King John Cody. Um,
I'll tell you what, I literally just had a moment. I'm sitting there looking and I'm like, what the hell did I screw up? Top five defensive scoring. I said, how the hell is Jaw a top five defense? Like, I'm really confused. And then I realized, and I looked down at bottom five defense and I'm like, oh, wait, there's Jaw. That's because Jake loves the game again, right? Like, I mean, we'll talk about Jake more as the day goes on, but he definitely has played really strong defense. You don't see him a lot of top offensive numbers as he continues to build up there, but you will notice you didn't see him turning over the ball. You saw him making plays, causing turnovers, and it's because of defense. Defense still wins games. I think it's super impressive. And then on the flip side, I mean, when you're giving up almost 50 a game, whew, that is rough. That is RUFF rough. But yards per game, man. The Ravens, I mean, that defense is just stout, but they give up a lot of points. If you notice that difference, right? So they got the best yardage defense, but they actually give up more points, over 4 points more per game than the next closest person that's on that graphic. Texans. Only 21 points a game. That's really impressive, as you can see from above, as the number two defense. But we're not here to talk defense, right? I guess a little bit more. We'll talk some team leaders, stat leaders. The Raiders. You see three Raiders up there. That's because of sim games. King Sean was no king. He has been replaced with the doggy bone, and he gave the Giants a big fat frickin' bone right in my ass. It did not feel good. He didn't even spit on it. It was not friendly or kind. Nick Bosa. wrapping up the sacks. Of course, Carolina Panthers. Carolina
What is
Panthers.
going on there?
What the? Hey, you know what? I got one person to blame on this whole damn screen, right? How the hell did he get Atabore for like nothing? I'm confused because we turned around, we traded it from one Joe to another Joe, and then we traded it to another Joe, and I'm just waiting for Seafield to come back and take him as well. So this way we have the four Joe trade. Like, he was doing nothing in Washington. We traded for him, and then we sent him over to Carolina. Within a week, he's a superstar. He's like an 89 speed defensive tackle superstar. Like, what the? I need you to take over this segment because I can't talk anymore. The Joe's got me fired up, man. Slick, fill in for me for a second.
Yeah, I mean, Joe turned that guy into a stud and kind of put PML on notice and told everybody who they were. Of course, Colts fan, I know who he is, but shipped him over to Washington. Was kind of surprised that Washington was even willing to move on from him. But I think that is one of the studs that maybe some people thought it was just some Joe magic, but going over to Washington, Joe number 2 in Tiger didn't do anything with him, and now he's making magic in Carolina. And to see 3 Panthers on that graphic is just truly insane. I would expect that to be the Lions with Hutch or Bosa or Nick Bosa and TJ Watt in Indy. But to see 3 Carolina Panthers there, that's insane. And then, of course, you got interceptions. 2 for sorcery, Kirby Joseph, but to nobody's surprise, Splash is at the top of the interceptions leaders basically since I've seen him join the league. So he has got Justin Simmons staying alive and well into his 30s. So if I'm not wrong, I believe he's 30 or 31. So
Hey,
that's pretty
that
awesome
dude's
to
old
see.
as dirt. That's who he is. Hey, so you expect to see big ballers like Ward, Simmons, Kirby Joseph, all 87 speed of him or whatever he is out there. I don't know how many times he had to have played Jaw. Like, I mean, you're just wrapping up a ton of interceptions over in Detroit. But how about Trevor Nowaski? Right? Trevor Nowaski with 7 picks from the middle linebacker position for a guy that isn't exactly, someone that stands out to you. I think that's a tremendous testament to what Detroit's got going on in the Motor City. But without further ado, let's dive into why we're actually here. Right? We're here to talk about some PRs. We're here to talk about it on election day. We wanted to make sure we got a nice patriotic little feel to it, right? I didn't get any Made in America background music. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, damn it, I missed the opportunity. But there, once again, very special thanks to our sponsor, Prep Pizza. We appreciate you allowing me the time to do the pods on the side while we make magic happen because I'm still trash at Madden. But we'll dive right in. We'll talk a little bit about the bottom 8, right? Simply put, winning doesn't matter. That's how it feels for these bottom 8 coaches. I'm not going to talk much about them here because honestly, they're not much to talk about. But I'll definitely leave the platform for you here, Slick.
Yeah, I mean, to nobody's surprise, this is your winning doesn't matter category. I feel like it's all very fitting. The Buccaneers have shown some signs to get off this screen, but recently taken down TRC and the Jets. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe next pod he jumps out of this screen. But yeah, these guys have been here pretty consistently all year and look to see some progress moving forward.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about. I think the next graphic's coming up here in a second. Tell me a little bit about what you see here, brother.
Stuck in the mud. I mean, it is what it is right here. We got a Raiders owner who inherited a terrible record, not necessarily terrible team, but pretty terrible team and record. But you got the Bills. Josh Allen suspended, so we're gonna continue to see him fall down. Lions. I'm gonna maybe take him as a little underdog. I think he's a little underrated. He could definitely sting you in the wrong time. 49ers. Vizzy. Vizzy's sneaky. He almost looked like he could take the division away from me, and he's right there in the AFC playoff race, I believe, at 10. So we could see that progress. And then we got the Vegas Giants trying to make a push, and then recently Ron beat me. So I could see all these potentially moving up as well, but it's not trending in their favor by any means.
Yeah, so I think we were talking a little bit earlier about teams that are on the outside of the playoffs, kind of looking in, and who can make a move. Right? We talked about sorcery. I think you picked the Lions, maybe being able to slide into that spot as the Seahawks. I think we both predicted the Seahawks falling back, and I say that because the Seahawks have already played the Rams at least once. So I know there's definitely some moving parts that have to happen there. I'm just not a big Wisco believer. Initially, I picked him to win that division every year. He did come in number one in season one. I've watched him play enough. I'm just not a big believer on old booby boy Curtis. But you can see 17, 18 are the two teams I kind of predicted to maybe move into the next spot if they can. I think the Dolphins have it cut out for them, as the AFC is pretty tough. The Giants just got to win some ball games, man. The Giants have it laid out for them. I know they got a big game scheduled today against the Cowboys. They got two games against the Eagles, which could really swing that whole interdivisional race, especially for tiebreakers, especially since he has two wins over Tiger, which will allow him to claim the tiebreaker over the Eagles. But he's got to win some games, man. Like, he just cannot continue to be stuck in the mud, as the title says. And then
I think Ron's got the hardest path actually to get to playoffs. He's coming up on Lynch as the Browns, the Ravens, the Bills, Eagles, Patriots, Jets. I mean, that's a pretty hairy end of the season. I don't know if we're going to get him out of the mud for the rest of the season there with that schedule.
So since you got it pulled up, man, we'll stall here for a second. We'll kind of improv for a second, right? But so, like, you've got it pulled up right now. So you talked about we said that the Seahawks are going to fall back, right? So do me a favor, go on ahead, pull up the Seahawks final games, and let's just do a schedule by schedule comparison. I'm gonna let you lead the way here, and I'm just gonna ask you some questions, firing back and forth. So let me know when you got the Seahawks. Let's take a look at the Seahawks, the Giants, and the Lions, and let's see who maybe has the edge to fall up.
Seahawks has Cody with the Jaguars,
Yep.
the Eagles, the Colts, the Rams, the Ravens, and the Cardinals. So that is not a very favorable
The
schedule.
Seahawks have one win left. That's what the Seahawks got left. That's what I just heard, right? All right, so let's go to the, and they currently have what, 7 wins? Is that correct? 7 wins?
Yes.
All right, so they're going to get 8 wins. If they get to 9 wins, they got to upset somebody. All right. How about the Lions? Talk to me.
The Lions. Let's get them. Lions actually beat the Bengals. Bengals. That was
Big
not
dub.
a forced
So that
win. I
gives
guess
the
they
Lions,
played.
what,
They
6
played.
wins now.
Yeah, I believe so. So the Lions taking down the Bengals late last night,
Okay.
and then they're gonna go Steelers, Browns, Packers, Giants, Ravens. Man, all you guys get almost the same opponent.
The Lions are going to win. Let's give the Lions a 2-game win here, right? Let's just say 2 games. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2 or 3.
Okay. So, and then the Giants have what left?
The Giants, you're looking at the Cowboys, the Bills, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Lions, and the Eagles again. I'd say you have the most favorable schedule left to really take that last seed in the NFC. No bias.
I'm gonna get. You know what? I'm putting it out there right now. I'm making my fucking stand, and it starts in about 1 hour from now when I lay the smackdown. Yeah, you heard it right. Okay, when I lay the fucking smackdown on Tell No Lies on election day, and I start my run to the playoffs tonight. You heard it here first, boys.
You heard it here.
Yep, that's it. That's how it's going to be. I'm putting my foot down. I am done being bottom half of this league. The time changes now. Moving on. Let's move forward. I appreciate the quick
improv. That was a nice improv.
Yeah, that was nice. Fired up. We get into the playoff teams that contend. Right, that can contend. What does that mean? These are teams that are currently in the playoffs, other than the Texans and the Packers. Look, who the hell wrote this graphic? These guys suck, right? Whose rankings are these, right? No, but you take out the Texans, you take out the Packers. We've said, hey, you know what? This is where they were just based on tradition. We got some teams moving in. We talk about the Seahawks falling back. But really what we're talking about here, these are some teams that can maybe cause some trouble, right? Carter's defense is astounding. It's really, really strong. He's got maybe the most broken player in the game other than that idiot Woodson in Carolina. The Jets have kind of figured out how to move the ball efficiently. Their defense has been really strong. Legacy is always a problem with the Bears. I think these are all teams that can easily win some playoff games. I don't necessarily see anybody on this screen winning the Super Bowl this year. Do you agree with that? Do you think anybody on the screen? You think anyone on the screen wins the Super Bowl?
If I had to pick one off I agree with you. I don't see the Super Bowl winner on here, but if I had to pick one right now off this list, I'm taking Carter.
Wow, Carter. If I had to take one, you got no choice. You got to fucking pick one from here. I actually take the Bears. I do, and I say that just because he gives a lot of people a lot of fits. It's his team, just like don't get me wrong, the Ravens and Carter. But I mean, he's a matchup nightmare. He's got some really good things going on. He's got the X factor quarterback. He's got some good moving parts offensively. He knows how to run the ball in this broken ass game. That's who I would pick. Um, Shout out to BTG out there in Tennessee. I think he's done a tremendous job turning that franchise around. I know he's been in the DMs looking for some support, looking for some help. To for next season, but I think he's in the heat of it right now. I think with the Texans
For
taking
sure.
a step back, right? I think with the Texans taking a step back, he's definitely moved forward a little bit in that division, and he's right behind Joe Forever, right? And moving forward from that. Um,
Echo opened the door. Echo opened the door for him and he took advantage of it.
All right, so I'm actually being messaged really fast right now. Sorry, this just came through on the breaking wire. Tiger, are you there? I think we got a special person here. Tiger, hello, hello, no, not there. He was. He's muted. He's not muted. All right, we'll see if he comes back in. I was getting ready to bring him back in. He just reached out to me, and then there he is. Tiger, are you there?
I'm here.
Boom, boom, boom. If you can get a little bit louder, that would be tremendous. But that being said, listen, we were just talking a little bit about the teams that can contend. I thought this was a pretty hot subject, right? I'm not sure if you can see the graphic or not, but basically, this is the 9 through 16 phase. We've got the Jets, the Bears, the Eagles, the Ravens, right? Let's just focus on those four. Do you see any of those four teams winning the Super Bowl this year?
I'd have to pick honestly the Bears or the Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets can compete with anyone if he has control of the game in that first half. Going in the second half has a lead. He's as dangerous as anyone. Legacy, I echo everything that you said. He gives everyone fits with his defense. His offense is coming around. I think he's won though until he has that deep playoff run and Super Bowl experience. I don't see him winning it, but he's definitely one that can get there just about any year.
All right, all right. Well,
I
you
like
guys
that.
heard it first, right? Old Tiger slides in. He's in the DMs. He's like, "Hey, dude, like I'm here. All you got to do is just pull my string and I'll come out, brother." Right? So we appreciate you chiming in there for a hot second. We're gonna keep you on the line, and we'll talk a little bit through it as we go. But kind of moving forward, you get into the 5 through 8 range. These are teams that really can cause some problems for anyone. My belief is the one outlier here is probably the Cardinals, right? But I think, Slick, you may be a little surprised at how high you are here. I think I gave you a little bump versus what you sent me. But what we have here is we have reigning champions. We got two of them. We have a relatively new user whose team is really good. Like that team is really good in Arizona. They caused some problems. If I remember correctly, yeah, I think he laid the smackdown, right? He gave old boots to asses, or belts to asses, as some would say, to Jake, and he basically said,
Acknowledge me.
to make sure that Jake understood who he works for, right? And on that day, he was working for Melsif and the Arizona Cardinals, and stretch left, stretch right. He said, "Stretch that asshole, because I'm gonna give it to you repeatedly." But you see, old Tigger Tiger is here at number 5 after a down season 1. Since we've got him on the line, I want to ask Tiger, do you feel like you're too high or too low, my friend? Too high or too low, or just right? Talk to me.
I think I'm just right. I mean, my loss is a fair sim against Legacy, and then to Daddy, of course, in Vegas. So those are my three on the
Oh,
year.
only 2 user losses this year. Is that correct?
That is
Oh, and how
one
many
being a
user
fair
losses
sim.
did you have last season to old daddy?
I believe it was two.
It was
Two.
okay. Okay, so if I only played you every week, I might actually be able to compete in this fucking league. Got it. Just want to make sure how bad I am. I love it, man. I love it. Continue, please. I just want to give myself a little pat on the back there for a second that I actually can beat someone worthwhile.
No, I think 5 is back where I should be. I think the remaining 4 ahead of me definitely are a step ahead at the moment. Yeah, so trying to avoid Splash, TRC, that whole duo there in the NFC, I think is the ideal path. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think that one seed in the NFC is huge, right? I think you as somebody that's contending for it, and I say that just because if you can catch Splash, right? If you can catch Splash, that allows you then to play the winner of the lowest seed in the second round, and you avoid having to play some combo of two people regarding Splash, TRC, and Tiger, right? Would you say that that's like the biggest goal here is to not have to play both of them?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we
So
love to hear.
I face Splash this week, so that gets me one step closer.
Oh,
Just
game of the week. You say this week? Is that
that.
week 13?
Yep.
Wow. Wow. That's a big one, fellas. Slick.
That's a great game.
Slick, talk to me, man. Tell me a little bit
Play,
what you see here.
And then Splash plays go next week.
I think you guys hit it right on the head, and actually, surprisingly, me and Tiger in this graphic together, and we're in a similar spot, right? We're not trying to be stuck on that bottom end of the standings, and then have to face two of those top dogs. Myself looking out for Joe specifically, but Tiger, your next two games, you got Falcons bye week and myself, so we got some tests coming up as well for you, and then I don't know who I even play this week. I play Vizzy and then you as my next couple games. So there's going to be some testing going on to see, if these teams are really ready to strike, and then if Mel is going to keep himself in the top 10. Coming into PML playing Ja 2 out of your first 3 games has got to be quite a confidence booster. So we'll see what he does with that. And then if Lynch can repeat, of course, that's got to be on the radar.
And what's crazy is in between on the jaw sandwich, right on the jaw hamburger bun, he's got a layer of Jake in the middle of it, and he did work. So I think we gave him a little bit of flack for the first game. He didn't actually exactly come out and dominate that game. I actually watched a lot of that game as I pulled highlights from it, but. Regarding his first game with John, I wasn't overly impressed. That being said, I am looking forward to reviewing the tape this past week in his game versus Jake, as nothing makes me happier than to hear Jake cry about run plays and things like that. If you never forget 10 in a row, baby. But coming back playing Jaw again, you're going to look up. This guy's going to have 10 wins, and he hasn't even broke a damn sweat yet. And that's that could cause some trouble. Tiger, any concerns about the Cardinals? Maybe the play is you slide back, right? Maybe you don't get the number 3 seed, maybe the number 2 seed. Maybe you're okay being the number 4 seed. Have you thought about that yet?
No, I don't really think about those in the first season of PML. I like to see him do something in the playoffs before I worry about him.
Actually, as I'm sitting here thinking to myself, TRC is going to be the 5 seed probably, right? So that's actually going. The spot to be then is you just need the number 3 and number 4 seed to win. Okay. See, I'm all over the damn place. I don't know what's going on. I got red numbers, blue numbers. I got all kinds of electoral votes stuck on my head, and they pull my head out of my ass. And we'll figure it out from there. But since we're on the topic, and I got both of you here, do you guys understand and realize that you are greater than 50% of my wins this season? Both of you together? Any feedback? No.
Hey, I'm just trying to chug along.
I don't know if that's.
I want to really put. Oh, sorry. You go, Tiger.
I don't know if that's a compliment to you or a diss on us.
It's honestly it's both. It's just is what it is. I just want to again right now I'm just patting myself on the back because honestly I'm bored out of my mind and I'm just trying to fill time. Hey, since we got you here, Tiger, we'll dive right in, man. This is gonna be. I think you kind of know who the next 4 are gonna be. These are our cream of the crop. Pick one team here, Tiger. Pick one team. Give me 20 seconds on that one team, my man.
I'll do Splash. I think Splash, it's his time. If he's going to win the Super Bowl, it's going to be this year. He's got TRC's number. He beat me last season. And I think as TRC develops that roster, as each season goes on, his window shrinks. So if he's going to capitalize on the opportunity to take a Super Bowl, it's got to be this year. Ultimately, he's got TRC's number, like I said. I see him going through the NFC as long as he doesn't make any big mistakes. And then his true test is going to be Joe. He's going to get a little preview of that next week after he faces me. So
he's having a Georgie. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, when's he playing TRC again? Does he play TRC again? I'm not too sure. That's maybe a better question
Give
for.
me just a moment.
Yeah, there he is. See, look, he already knows. I don't even have to say anything anymore. He's like, I got it, dude. I'm
He's
looking it
already
up.
beat TRC twice this season.
No,
He's
no.
already beat TRC twice.
Splash is locking up his one seed. I have a feeling he's got Commanders, Colts, Saints, Bills, Rams, Vikings. That sounds
so he's gonna
like at
win
least that sounds at least four wins.
Yeah, at least 4 wins. But if he does lose, right? Think about it. If he does lose to the commies and the commies runs the table, the commies actually own the tiebreaker. If Splash were to drop to Joe, and they're the same damn person, so in the end, he just has to beat him twice, and he gets the first seed. How about that? Love to see
Has he
it.
reached out to you about beating Joe twice, Vegas? I mean, maybe he needs to reach out to you before we play.
Well, so what happens is this is what I've learned, right? Is that I when I play my Joe, right? Typically every season, I think he's on baby duty still. So it's the same player, but it's on baby duty. Whereas when I play the other Joe, I only get that Joe when he doesn't have baby duty. I think is typically what happens because
Hey, we can round into who's Joe's one loss. Does anybody know?
I have no clue, man.
Just a random trivia question for our PML viewers
Whatever.
here.
One loss means nothing.
It's me. It's me.
Oh,
it's me.
Oh, it's you. See,
it's me.
Love to see it.
I came into Indy, and I'm gonna hope to really challenge Joe for that AFC spot, along with Jake, and really make it contending like the NFC's been. And me and Joe, good buddies, I would call it, Colts fans, and we have kind of a back and forth, kind of close to a 500 overall record. So I want to come for that. Take him out if I have to and come across that, but it's kind of exciting to see how these playoffs will shake out, like you discussed. Who's going to get 3, 4? TRC basically probably getting 5. That spices up the NFC. We don't have that in the AFC over here yet, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, definitely next week we're going to do a little bit of a playoff. We'll do playoff predictions next week as our power rankings kind of come to a season 2 close. But let's not skim over what Jake has done with the Bengals. Listen, he was this is week 12. He has already played week 13. He did get blown out in week 12, but he's been a standard bearer of consistency in the strong AFC North. He's kind of taken Lynch's spot as the division lead. He's doing really good things. He's learned how to matriculate the ball accordingly, and doesn't turn it over much. And when you don't turn it over much, as we saw earlier, he's going to be okay. As for the other schmuck that's over here at number 4, another Joe, basically this guy, he throws the best deep ball in the game. I say it often. It makes me want to vomit. When I watch this guy play because he knows how he's going to beat you. You know how he's going to beat you, and he still whips your ass. That being said, that's a testament to everyone else or to him knowing what people are trying to take away, and he still goes right by them. Great job learning the revamp passing, but also a big shout out to TRC, a big bless you and a big thank you because your ability to continue to tell others of kind of what you're doing, it's helped other people, right? So I think sorcery, right, is a testament to that a little bit, is where I know he's really taken on the revamp passing. He's thrown that deep ball to JMO, throws it really well. There's a few other users that I've seen him talk to about in the past. So TRC, listen, we appreciate you. Appreciate the hard work. We're looking forward to Sports Centers coming back when the time comes. And go from there. Any final thoughts before we kind of look at the big graphic here? Tiger, before we let you go, you want to share anything else?
Yeah, I'm on this page here. I'm surprised Joe jumped ahead of Splash. What made you guys put Joe ahead of him, even though they both hadn't lost a game since the last PR?
So I think part of it is Joe was number 1 on the graphic Splash was number 1 last week. Joe was the other way around. Just looking at kind of their outside of their body of work. Okay. Joe has been consistently good from the very beginning. I know Splash has 2 wins over TRC. Those are probably his 2 best wins. Maybe a little motivational factor here, just to remind Splash that this is a Joe's league, and that he needs to go win the next 2 weeks. And trust me, if he wins the next 2 weeks, he's going to be number 1. If he can win more than one playoff game in a playoff season, he'll continue to move up that realm. But I think this is just more a total PML body of work and more trust. It was actually quite hard to put Jake this high, as I just haven't had the trust in the last several Maddens, as there were several guys on the last screen, if we even take a look back at it, that I probably have a little more trust in regards to like Lynch. Lynch isn't playing as well as Jake is this year, but that being said, it was the right thing to do for this season. Next week, it's going to move it drastically, and especially with Tiger, Splash, Joe all playing each other in some capacity, there's going to be a lot of moving parts. So I think that would be my self-explanation, and I think that's kind of how we got there. I think it was splitting hairs last week. Also, too, why not add a little controversy? I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, I like
All right.
it.
All right, my man. So, as we kind of, try to get ready to wrap things up, here's, kind of the big board, as we like to say in the PR game. Um, looking at it all together, I think there's definitely some opportunities. Looking at the standings and then looking at the power rankings, the way that we broke it out, I definitely would probably want to make some changes. I think the amount of games that people are playing, big games this next week, you're going to see some moving parts. Doggy Bone, listen, he beat the brakes off me yesterday. I'm looking forward to seeing him continue to move up. We got the number 18, 19 going against each other here in just another hour or so. The playoffs are going to really be probably settled in by next week. I mean, we're week 12 now. We're going to get 3 advances. We're going to be at week 15. Probably rather than doing a PR, we'll probably do a playoff prediction, and kind of who's going to lock up those last spaces. Maybe we'll do some schedule review, which I know Slick Butter loves to do. But I mean, I'm looking forward to see if the Cardinals can maintain. Right, I'd love to see the Cardinals maintain. I want to see if the Packers can come win some big games. I think the Packers can still make some changes. I still think they're probably the best team that's out of the playoffs. I just don't know if they have a path there as they beat up on each other. What about you, Slick? Anything on the big board that you want to kind of address or touch? Any mistakes? Anything that you're like, I don't like that one so much?
No, I actually really like this graphic. I think everybody's kind of earned their spot, and it's pretty accurate in my opinion. I can see the Texans definitely opened that door, like we discussed, and with him coming back from vacation, does he sneak in? Is my biggest question, especially being in the AFC. That is a question you got to ask. And then I see the Packers falling. I like the guy. It's a good team. I could see him maybe slipping away. Like I said, I picked sorcery, and then you got the Bears winning the division. So I'm going to go with the Packers slipping out, surprisingly, but I wouldn't be surprised if I was wrong as well. So that's my 2 things to watch. There's 14 and 16.
All right. So with that being said, we're getting ready to wind it down. We're going to do some self-reflections. I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to start myself and just simply say, listen, I don't like the game. I think the game does not play very well. That being said, there's definitely some things I can do better personally and stop blaming the game. So my self-reflection is I'm going to be better, and we'll go from there. Slick, how about you, brother?
I think everybody's doing great. Everybody's being active. It's great to see the new users come in, so that gets me super excited. I know that was a big struggle, so kudos to shout out Steelers, Mel. You guys are being active, and it's fantastic, and keep it up. Really, it's just nice to see everybody getting engaged.
All right, man. Well, we love to hear it. That being said, folks, thank you so much for joining us. Your boy Vegas 22 with Slick Butter. We appreciate you. Thanks for being here. We out.